Hey guys, good morning. Today is Saturday, January 13th, 2018. This is day 13 of Wise Up, a daily dose of wisdom from the book of Proverbs for your daily life. I want to tell you about three people in my life that I know, okay? The first person is somebody who gossips a lot. Do you guys know anybody who's like that? Who every conversation you seem to have turns into some kind of gossip session about somebody else or about other people, or listen to what he said or she said, or did you know this? And I've never really been somebody who likes gossip, right? I don't really care for gossip. In fact, scripture tells us not to gossip, right? And it tears people down. And I've never really been about that, but I always find that when I leave the company of this person, or when I'm in the company of this person, I find myself thinking like, oh, I want to say this, and I have to shut it down. I have to stop. Second person that I'm thinking of right now is another friend of mine, but this person is so motivated, so confident, that anytime I'm in the presence of this person, I can't help but feel my confidence rise and feel myself being more motivated to do the things that I need to do, right? And it's like this person's confidence is so strong that it's rubbing off on me and actually creating a change in me. And so I notice that the more I spend time with this friend, the more motivated and confident that I become in myself too. Now, the third person that I'm thinking about, that I want to tell you about, is one of the wisest people I've ever met. And every conversation that I have, honestly, I walk away feeling so richly blessed from having that conversation, no matter what it's about, because I know that the Spirit of God lives inside of this person, and I know that I encounter Christ whenever I encounter this person. So those are three people that I know in my life who rub off on me. And so let's take a look at today's verse. It comes from Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. Here it is. He who walks with the wise will grow wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Whoa. Dang, that is intense. Like Solomon's got something to say for sure right here, right? And that's why we're taking a look at it. I want to share with you a couple things that I've heard, not from the Proverbs, but that I've heard that sound really similar, right? We've talked about this one before at youth. We become like those with whom we spend the most time. And Pastor Tom talked about that probably a year or so ago, and we spoke about it at youth one Wednesday night when we were talking about the comparison trap. Maybe you remember that. But we become like those with whom we spend the most time. And the second one is this. It's pretty widely circulated, but you are the average of the 5 people that you spend your time with. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend your time with. That means take the 5 closest people to you, no matter where they are on the scale of motivation, confidence, laziness, whatever, and you're going to be somewhere in the middle of all of those people. And that's pretty true, I think, for the most of us, right? So here's a thought. God created us to be in relationships with people, right? And it's through those relationships that we as people grow, that we learn, that we experience God's goodness and His grace in so many ways. It's through those relationships. But if that's true, then the opposite is also true. Is that through the relationships in our lives, we also don't grow. We also change or backslide. We also don't experience God's grace, I think, in some ways. And so it causes us to, I guess, just kind of think about the relationships and think about what Solomon's saying here. Who is walking with the wise and growing wise, and who is in a companion of fools and suffering harm? And what does that mean? Because it sounds so harsh, right? Now, it's not a proverb that's sitting here telling us that you need to just peace out on anybody in your life who's not good or isn't a Christian or anything like that, right? That's not what this verse is about, because we're called to be a light to the world, right? And so there's an element there where we should be friends with people, right? And we can't, or we're not just supposed to be friends with Christians only, right? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But the proverb is getting at something kind of a level deeper, and it's evaluating who are the closest to us. Who are the closest people in our lives that we are walking through life with? Get that illustration? Not just people we hang out with, but people that we are walking with. People that we are companions of. And who are we keeping closest? Who are the people who influence our life most powerfully? So think about that today, whether you are driving somewhere, you're getting ready for school, you're at school, whatever it may be. Ask yourself today and ask the Spirit to guide you in making decisions in your relationships. Maybe there's a conversation that needs to take place. Maybe there's a change in direction. Maybe there isn't, and that's totally cool too. But here's another thing that you can do if you have time, if you have a second. Take a minute or two and think of, and you can make a note on your phone, write it down, do whatever, but think of 2 or 3 people who you look up to, who you are motivated by, and you think are pretty wise people. Take a look at that, make that list, and consider doing something. Consider not only making that list, but thinking about what it might be like to reach out to those people, or one of those people, and making those people someone who, in a greater way, pours into your life and becomes one of those 5 people that make up the average, right? So that's our verse for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Great weekend.